What is going on, my good people, man? This is your main man, Ben, here. And today is going to be a special episode because we've been graced by the presence of my dear partner. It's Judy. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Ben.
So, forgive my other half, man. This is going to be the first time that she's going to be put into the pot. Because I'm going to ask some questions, man. Current events that were happening, you know what's happening right now, especially here in Maryland. She works in a healthcare environment, and she deals with very, very sick people. Can you tell us about what you do basically at work?
Well, I work as a palliative care nurse practitioner. We take care of very, very sick people. A lot of them carry a high mortality rate, but not a lot of them pass away like hospice, but they are very sick.
Well, wow. So basically, we're just test running everything right now. With regards to what's happening, what can you somewhat relate on the coronavirus with regards of the palliative situation that you handle? Is there any difference between this type of trend and how you deal with people that is basically in the last stage of their lives?
Well, right now our work asks us to hold off seeing palliative care patients, but to answer your question, what the significance of palliative care during this time is very important, because right now is such a weird situation that we're in. It's new. Nobody has experience about it. There's no treatment.
Right.
But what we do know is that people are dying from this illness, and it happens really fast. So what I would like to do, if we are given the green light to go ahead and start seeing again these patients, is to start talking, to have that conversation early on about how you would like to be cared when or if you become very ill, such as needing ventilation with invasive ventilation, or the just a BiPAP or things like that. Invasive ventilation meaning is the intubation, putting the tube in your throat and having the machine breathe for you.
Gotcha. That is really deep, guys. I mean, a lot of our viewers is gonna understand that for sure, based on we watched a Netflix documentary last night. I don't know what the name of that. Extremist, and it was a Netflix, and she was like, hey, you gotta see this. Basically, this is what I do by the book. I was like, you know what, man, I just finished eating dinner and all that stuff, and I was like, I sat down, and 5 minutes after, as soon as I see that, I was like, yo, this this is not meant for anyone. Or it's Let me just wrap this real quick. How are you gonna explain to a family that their family member is virtually at its end stage? How are you going to deliver that properly, or say it like, hey, can I borrow a pencil? It's not like that. I'm going to tell you, hey, this is what's going to happen. And I was in shock after like 10 minutes. So I was looking at her. I was like, yo, this job is not meant for the fainted hearts, I believe. I don't know if that's the right word about it, but now, moving on to what's happening in the past couple of weeks. We are both raised in a third world country, right? Agree?
Agree.
So our experiences in a third world country is kind of different versus the Western lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But we walk different shoes. Agreed.
I cannot speak for what shoes you walked in, but...
Exactly. So, because we were raised in the different islands, I'm going to put it out there. I was raised by a single mother that went abroad. She's not. So she has culture that was so rich and amazing, if I put it in my end. But as a professional in this side of the world, what can you say about the preparedness of the third world country facing the coronavirus versus our nation right now.
Well, truly, nobody is really prepared for this. Like I said, this is a new virus and it's a pandemic. The last time we had a pandemic, I mean, the last time was we had SARS, we had Ebola, but it's not a
MERS.
pandemic. It's not a pandemic.
It's not pandemic, right? Right.
The last pandemic that I know of is the 1918 flu, which
Spanish
killed
flu.
millions of
Right.
of people. But nobody, the world is not prepared for this. Even the richest country, the United Kingdom, the United States, nobody's prepared for this. But the difference is you're asking is the people. I believe because we grew up in such a place without so much resources compared to the United States, that a lot of people are more resilient.
Right. Right.
They're not, they're less panicky that when they heard of, because from my experience, I don't know, that was 10, 15 years ago in the Philippines, we sterilize our gloves, we reuse
Yes.
sutures, things like that, and that is out of this world. Every time I talk about that to my colleagues here, it's like it's out of this world, like whoa. But in here, not that in the United States currently, we are, we don't have enough PPE, meaning the protective equipment like the mask, gowns, and etc. And people are really having anxiety about that, which is a true concern because we are,
That's staggering facts.
Yeah, we are facing a deadly virus and we are putting our own health at risk and our own family at risk with that. But it's just a different,
That would be in the professional side though. But if I looked at it in my own opinion and experience, the way people reacted in this side of, America, that some people 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they would just like, hey, this is just, we shrugged it. Nothing happened. This is going to be like a normal thing. But the other side of the world, people are dropping like crazy. They passing away. And now we're in the stage where President Trump asked to be like, after Easter or before Easter, we're going to resume opening businesses. But right now it got extended till April 30th. Now, based on that scheme of events or, turn of events, I must say that the Western side of the world right now, especially America, is looking into a bigger problem that they have not been before. But what's staggering to me is that the people are still not participating.
Well, some people, there are a lot of people now that get it, that have truly a good understanding of what the virus is and what it can cause.
Right.
But there are some people that still don't understand the severity of this illness, so they still go about their business.
So, going back to your work right now, did the ambience change?
Well, right now it's very quiet. It's like I think it's been a week or so now that it's been unusually quiet in the hospital. Nobody wants to go in the hospital, and the hospital limits visitors. And now they have not allowed any visitors unless someone is dying or talk about end of life decisions and stuff like that. So now it's still quiet, but we are seeing new patients that are currently diagnosed with COVID-19. So that's actually the next phase of this fight.
Yeah.
If we want to call it that way.
Now, Governor Hogan just declared, it's going to be a mandatory lockdown here, and specifically in Baltimore, that 8 p.m. you got to be at home. You got to find $5,000 and a year in prison.
That's what I heard. I cannot.
Did your institution supply some information with regards to the essential?
Oh, they have given us that since last week.
Oh, okay.
So they gave us a paper saying that that certifies that I am essential in case I got pulled over by a police officer or somebody.
Good. That's a good thing, man. And before we moved on, President Trump, what can you say about this? Put out I don't know if it's legit, the word, because we all know and understand that we came here because of, you know, entering to the healthcare because there's shortage of nurses here in America.
Right.
Now he put out some kind of law in there or invitation for other nations' nurses and doctors to come over.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about that type of move where other nations are having the same exact problem that we have right now?
Well, it's good and bad. I mean, it's good for the people who will be given that opportunity to come here because, as you know, to be a nurse in the Philippines, it's not.
Right, right.
When I was a nurse in the Philippines many, many years ago, I only get paid about, I think, $12,000 every 2 weeks, every 15
12,000.
days.
So that's what,
That's in pesos. I don't know, maybe 200 something dollars.
275
And to
perhaps.
compare, and to live in the Philippines is very expensive. I mean,
Right,
just
right.
to go to the grocery store, usually we spend about like, I don't know, $5,000. I don't remember. I have 5,000 pesos. I mean,
That's $100.
yeah,
Yep.
just to do grocery shopping. But how are you gonna live with the children who go to school and pay the rent or the mortgage and
Right,
pay the
right.
car? And I will not blame like us. We chose to come here because of a better opportunity and a better, you know, living.
Right, right. That is some
So
solid
that is an
stuff.
opportunity for those people. It's a good opportunity to come here and to change their lives because with the difference that it would make to yourself and to your family and to your lifestyle. But
Definitely.
however, all countries now are have a scarcity of staff, nurses and doctors and what have you in healthcare,
Definitely.
and to it's very opportunistic. It will be other countries will be left out with less healthcare staff.
Right, right. Because to picture out how bad it is here in the United States, they're flying medical crews from Chicago just to go to New York. It's that bad. That's that's all over the news right now. And I'd be like, it's an opportunity, a chance of a lifetime for other nations, medical crew nurses and doctors. But once again, like what she said, because they work in a medical environment, like hand in. I work too in a medical environment. This guy's taking care of patients in hand. So I must say, yeah, I kind of agree about this one, but it is a chance of a lifetime at the same time.
It is. So it's a very personal decision, or it's either you want to think about your life in the long run, you and your family's future, or your country. If you're more patriotic, it's very individualized. Very it boils down to yourself. It's a very personal decision.
Amazing, amazing. Well, guys, we'll be right back. So amidst all this stuff that's happening right now, one thing I can say is that people should come together, heed the advice of local government, and I must say the president, because he's the head of this nation, and I must say that if people will just abide just this time, we could probably end this as soon as possible. What's your take?
Likely, I think so. And to think that we have a few weeks to a few months lead from many nations,
Right,
we should have
right.
been more ready.
That too.
Um, but the best and the less costly to do is the self distancing, isolation, and quarantine. Or the fastest but more costly way is the herd immunity. Like everybody will get it, but a lot of lives will be lost.
Mm.
So it's a decision again. But I think the best thing to do is the self distancing. It's the easiest thing to do, and a lot of people, a lot of lives will be saved. Some will be lost. It's we have lost a lot already as it is, but
I hope the
it's
herd
less
immunity thing.
costly.
Yeah, I
It's
hope it's
less
not.
costly than the herd immunity.
But that's some interesting stuff, and I truly appreciate you coming into the studio and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom regarding this thing right now. Because every state here in America is experiencing different types of approach, but it's still under this coronavirus thing.
Right.
So
Before we finish, I just want to say to everybody, it is a good time now to discuss with your loved ones how who you want to make a decision in your behalf in case you get ill and you're unable to make that decision for yourself. For me, it would be my husband because you know me
right,
very well.
right.
If I get intubated,
Oh,
or
no, she's not going to be.
okay, but it's a good thing to talk about now
Right.
while you are not in crisis. While your mind is clear, it's a good thing to talk about how you would like to be cared for because it will happen. We
It will
are all
happen.
going to die,
We all happen.
but there's a serious threat right now. So it's a good thing to talk about now. Just get it out there so they know what you want if that is needed.
Well,
So you
he
don't, you
did.
never know. You never
Right,
plan
right,
for that.
right. Well, he the advice, guys. This is our medical advisor, medical pro. She knows what she's talking about, and she's seen things that we don't want to see. But these are real life right now. Truly do appreciate. This is a broken record right now in coronavirus topic, but it has to be talked about, and we're just trying to contribute a little bit in this world. See if somebody might be able to pick this up and apply it, because there is no perfect time for this talk about but now. Appreciate you guys watching, man. Always remember, God is good all the time. Peace out.